Thank y'all for watching the Bull Mountain Podcast today. We're here with Dean Hubbard, who's our Park and Rec Director at Red Bay. And he is also helping us with the NRA in our area, which is a new endeavor for Dean and the NRA in this area. It's not here, so they're trying to get an established NRA sanction here in North Alabama for us. So Dean, tell us about yourself and where you're from and what you do for Red Bay.
I'm from Red Bay, Alabama. Dean Hubbard. Graduated high school here, and been fortunate enough to work for the city now for about 9 years, and Park and Rec Director, and over a lot of the sports and activities we have going on here in the city. But
well, we've got an NRA event coming to Happy Hollow Outdoors. What day is that again?
It's October the 17th. It's on a Thursday night. Some of you may be new to the NRA. It's the National Rifle Association. And we're starting a NorthWest Alabama chapter, which is pretty new to really the state of Alabama, and especially in our part in North Mississippi. So we're trying to, with all the things going on, we're trying to reach out and start a way to have awareness for guns, Second Amendment, and those kind of things.
So what exactly is your involvement in the Alabama Friends of the NRA?
Well, like I said, we just started this chapter, and I'm the vice president. Tim Burks is the president. I'm the vice president. And Cameron Burks, Tim's son, is going to be one of the chairpersons of it. And we're just, like I said, we started from the ground up. And we're going to have our first event October the 17th here in Red Bay.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about how to obtain tickets? I know we've got some flyers and stuff around the store directing people and where to get tickets.
It's really easy. If you'll just go to the Friends of the NRA and look for the NorthWest Alabama chapter location, and it'll be Happy Hollow, and it'll walk you through it. You can use the QR code and purchase your tickets. And there's going to be some benefits, and we'll talk about that in a minute. There's going to be some benefits for getting your ticket early.
Okay. Always early bird gets the worm.
Early bird gets the worm.
Good. So what all does the NRA do?
The NRA it's been around for a really, really long time. And they kind of started out as protecting gun rights through legislation, through the states, and through the national through the Senate and the Congress and those kind of things, to make sure that there's awareness to protect the Second Amendment. But there's a lot of things that they do. They do a lot of gun safety things for kids. They do a lot of gun awareness things and self-defense classes and those kind of things all over the nation, actually. And it's probably, I've been to a lot of different events, Wild Turkey Federation, Ducks Unlimited, Whitetails Unlimited. I've been to a lot of those. And a lot of those have their role, but very little of that goes into protecting everyone's gun rights, whether you're a hunter or not. And the NRA is going to do that. They're our voice for the government to make sure that it just doesn't get swept under the table. Whether you're a personal gun owner just for protection, or if you're an avid hunter like I am, we have the right to keep our guns and bear our guns, and that's what we want. That's what they're doing. They're trying to protect that.
Well, and I was raised here or around here also, and we're all from Alabama and the South. Everybody has been able to own guns and ammunition all of our lives. We've never been scared of it. Of not that right being taken away from us. But back a few years ago when I was with Wood Sales, we had bought some pistol cases, a little Bulldog pistol case, zip up, floating, very nice pistol case. But we brought probably 10,000 of those, and I called Factory Direct in Canada. And I sent it to Veronica and said, I thought y'all might be interested in some of these pistol cases. And she kind of laughed at me and said, Joey, what am I going to do with a pistol case? I said, well, you put it in one of your stores. You got 32 stores in Canada. I figured you'd go through them pretty quick. She said, we cannot own a pistol. I can't sell a pistol case. Nobody in Canada can own a pistol. And I was blown away. I traveled all over the United States all my career, but I never really thought about gun control to that caliber. You know, where only an official policeman can own a pistol in the whole country.
Yeah.
And
we're very fortunate that, you know, there have been some very, very bad cases of gun violence and things, and it happens all the time. But that's a people problem. That's not a gun problem, in my personal opinion. You know, you've got some mental issues. You've got a lot of things going on that has nothing to do with a gun. I mean, you know, we've got cars that run 180 miles an hour, but they don't regulate cars, you know. So I guess I look at it a little unbiased thing because I do hunt, but I can remember the days, and it hadn't been that long ago, you could go to school and we had guns in our back glass in our trucks because we were going deer hunting as soon as school was out. Nobody ever thought about pulling a gun or,
exactly.
you know, you never thought about that. It never crossed our mind. You know, you might have a little squabble with somebody, but you wasn't going to get a gun out, you know, and times have changed and I get it. But at the same time, you know, we've reached a point in society that if you don't have some way of protecting yourself, the criminals are always going to have guns. There's no way to do away with them. And maybe I'll just look at it in a common sense thing. I'd rather know I've got something to protect my family as nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. And for our children.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that they can protect their families.
And
hopefully our grandchildren, they have the ability to protect their families.
But, you know, that's just one aspect of it, protection. And luckily we live in Red Bay, Alabama, and we're one of the safest places in the United States. But there's the second fold of that is 90% of the people around here hunt or has family that hunts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want somebody to tell me that, hey, you don't need a gun that has 10 bullets or 5 bullets or 1 bullet. The gun isn't the problem, it's the person. And the NRA does a whole lot to protect that, and that's what we're trying to do with starting this foundation up, is more of an awareness, especially with younger people, because a lot of them just don't know. You ask them what the NRA is, and they probably have no clue, you know, and the NRA has been around a long time.
So what do some of the proceeds go to that you'll be raising in this?
It'll go to awareness for schools. The NRA goes in and they do a lot of gun training for ladies, self-defense classes, and they'll go into things with like the kids awareness and do classes for them, gun safety. They're real big on gun safety, you know, so that's probably where most of it will go. But the thing about it is you can go on Friends of the NRA and you can go in there and they will tell you what their description of things are, or where their money's going. And I'm part of a lot of other associations and you know, Wild Turkey Federation, those kind of things, and you'll be hard pressed to find out where a lot of that money goes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so what would you say the largest goal for Alabama Friends of the NRA is in our area?
It's to just have a voice, you know, for us to get a voice that, hey, guys in Alabama and Mississippi, we're not perfect by no stretch of the imagination, but we've had guns around here for 200 years, and we think we know how to handle them, you know, and that's common sense, just common sense. I mean, make sure that there's an awareness for the younger generation to protect the rights so they can have the freedoms I've had.
Yeah. Especially when you got up and coming kids and they need to learn how to operate a handgun or a rifle or a shotgun as well.
Yeah.
You know, we're living in a fatherless society, and there's not a lot of kids. There are a lot of kids out there that don't have the father to teach them how to do that.
Absolutely.
So the NRA can step in and
little girls, you know, young ladies, definitely with the sex trafficking and things that's going on in the United States now that you thought you would never hear of. They need to be able to protect themselves, you know, and to teach them in the right way. I was taught by my grandfather and my dad. I had my first gun when I was 6 years old, you know, and so I've been around them all my life. I take it for granted that I was taught gun safety. You know, if you got a scratch on a gun, you got to whip it. I mean, that was just kind of the way I was taught. And now kids nowadays just hadn't been taught, and they watch so many video games that it's kind of demoralized the thought of owning a gun and that kind of stuff. And I just think that these programs that they can get going in classes and schools and things like that, and even if we do things through Happy Hollow to awareness. I mean, we got one of the best hunting stores in North Alabama, North Mississippi, and we want to keep that going for the city of Red Bay and teach kids how to hunt.
Exactly. We had, fortunately, when Chandler and Chase were coming up, we had the property over next to Johnny Mac that we could use to sight guns and do some target practice and even handgun control or just gun control. That's where I taught them how to operate a weapon, and sadly that's not there anymore, but we need to get something like that back in this
We sure
area.
do. And my son watched me hunt all of his life. He don't care one thing about it, but he owns guns, but he don't care anything about hunting. And that's fine. I mean, it's not for everybody. But I'm not going to tell you what you need and what you don't need. That's the freedoms that we have. Everything needs to be within the confines of the law, but at the same time, my protection might not be your protection,
So what are some of the challenges that the NRA has faced in our area recently?
I'm not so sure of what we have here because we're in the gun-toting Bible Belt here,
Very true.
But nationwide, with all the AR-15, these assault weapons and things that are going on, and people, when they say assault weapons and stuff like that, they absolutely do not know what they're talking about. They do not know what they're talking about, because you can kill somebody with a 22 short just as good as you can with a 223 AR-15 if you have that in your mind. I mean, some of the worst things that happened in the United States was with a knife or a car, so it's all in perspective of blaming something. And but the NRA has done a really good job of awareness, and they fought a lot of those battles through Congress and legislation with, it's not the gun. They keep saying that. And I've seen guys get up in national TV and point out what an AR is. Well, they don't even know what that stands for. They don't have a clue what they're talking about, but they think because somebody has done a mass shooting that's the norm for everybody. And it is absolutely not, so it's awareness.
Well, I think we'll take a quick break from the Bull Mountain podcast. We're sorry Dale wasn't able to be here today. I know everybody likes Dale being here, and I personally would rather have Dale here. Not that I mind doing it, but I like to watch Dale do the podcast as well. So we're missing you, Dale. Wish you'd have been able to do this one. So if you would just, we're going to take a moment and tell you about our sponsors, and appreciate you watching the Bull Mountain podcast.
Make your next DIY project a success with a little help from Tiffin Supply. For 75 years, our hardware store has served the community of Red Bay and surrounding areas with premium lumber products, including treated lumber, siding, concrete blocks, and home appliances, including a large selection of windows in a wide range of sizes, all at affordable prices. Now, in our third generation, we continue to have a knowledgeable and friendly sales staff who are eager to assist you with anything you need. We can select hard-to-find items, match paints, and special order customized doors for you. At Tiffin Supply, you get personalized service you can't find anywhere else. We are open Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. Come by or call us today at 256-356-4946. Also visit us online at www.tiffinsupply.com.
Welcome back to the Bull Mountain podcast. I'm here with Dean Hubbard, our Park and Rec director here in great city of Red Bay, Alabama. And I love this town.
Oh, I
You
love
know, I've been here for many years, and
it. If I could find one better, I'd move there.
I guess so. We are very fortunate.
We are
to have,
blessed. We are blessed.
to be able to live in this town. And well, Dean, this next question is probably going to raise some eyebrows here and there, but where do you think this next election has involvement in the NRA and programs like the NRA?
Well, it's sad to say that the country we live in right now, the state of people's mindset on some things is, I don't know if it's uneducated or if I don't know if it's just their personal beliefs because they don't like guns or they don't hunt or whatever it is, and everybody's associates certain guns with certain weapons. Mm-hmm. Well, the truth of the matter is when you've got one side that is saying, hey, we're going to confiscate your guns, or we're going to make sure that your gun doesn't do this, or you can't have an automatic weapon, or you can't have semi-automatic weapons. I mean, there are so many laws that are already in place to protect background checks. If you lie on a background check, you're supposed to go to jail. Obviously, we don't know if that's going to happen or not because we've had somebody recently that just got convicted of that. Mr. Hunter Biden was convicted of that. Whether he goes to jail or not, that's not for me to say. But if you're going to go by the laws, enforce the laws that we already have. And the NRA does a really good job of saying that. We don't need new laws. We just need to take care of the ones we got. Mental health issues, those people don't need a gun. People that are on drug addictions and if you have a violent crime with a weapon, there should be some harsh penalties for that. I'm all for that kind of stuff. But don't penalize the good citizens of North Alabama and Mississippi that hunt and enjoy the lifestyle that they were raised with because of something that's happened in Birmingham or New York City. That's not the norm. That is not the norm for us. So with this election coming up, I think people really need to do their homework. I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do, but if you're a gun owner, you need to wake up a little bit and see what could happen. I mean, we've got a lady that's talking about gun confiscation. You start taking people's guns, you're going to have a civil war. That's my personal opinion. Because there's going to be a lot of people, me included, I'm not going to give mine up very easy. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just saying the law should protect us from the own government because the people aren't the problem, in my opinion. And so the NRA does a really good job of trying to intervene in some of this and fight some of the battles that we don't see. And so your money's not going to go to waste by being a member of the NRA or coming to Happy Hollow the 17th and supporting our little banquet we're going to have. It's going to be a fundraiser. It's going to be a fun night. If you've never been to one of those kind of events, there's a lot of live auctions going on and a lot of bidding on different items, and it's all for fundraising, and we can show you where the money goes. I'm not going to get a dime from it. Joey's not going to get a dime from it. Right. It's just we're going to promote Happy Hollow, and we're going to promote the NRA. Is what we're after.
Well, and you can bet as many lobbyists that are in Washington, there's somebody backing a lobbyist to control guns.
Absolutely.
And they're shoving a bunch of money into them.
Yes.
And trying to buy off votes by all means. Yeah. So, not that the NRA would be trying to buy votes, but you got to pay. Somebody's got to get paid to go out and lobby and to keep guns.
Well, as much as I know about guns, I couldn't go to Washington and plead my case, probably in an effective way. But there's so many ways that they can control the guns right now. I've been reloading ammunition for 40 years, and they can control the primers. Right now, if they can control the primers, you can't load your gun. You don't have any bullets. You can have all the guns you want if you don't have any ammunition. So there's so many ways that they're already trying to control what we have. And so somebody has to be a voice for us, or we have no voice. And, I think there's a lot of people that I know that would stand up here and say the exact same thing that I'm trying to say. It's bigger than one or two guns.
Yes. So what do you think trying to promote gun rights advocacy through social media nowadays? How do you see that going?
I think, we always see as the negative. You know,
100%.
I always sees the negative, and you know, I'm on a lot of things that I see hunting shows and you know, hunting. They have to be real careful because I can go back to in the '90s. We were going to Illinois deer hunting every year. Well, Peter come in and bought up all the tickets, all the tags. So there was no tags for people. They only allowed like 10,000 for non-residents to come and hunt. Well, they went in and bought like 7,000 of them. And so they just stopped everybody from going hunting. And so that's the things that happens that you don't really know about. That's not hurting the people that are, you know, that are gangsters in New York. That's hurting the everyday hunters. And the number one income for the state of Alabama and Mississippi is probably hunting. If you could really get down to the nitty gritty of dollars spent per hunter, it's quite a bit. You know, ask a lot of these wives; they could probably tell you.
That's exactly right. And it can be an expensive
It
sport,
can be
but
very expensive.
golf can be just as expensive,
It can
if not
be.
more.
It
So
can be.
They're all very expensive. But at Happy Hollow, we've got a wide variety of guns and ammo on display and for sale, and we try to have something for everybody.
Absolutely.
There, from the youth sizes all the way up to the larger. But you have to have that. The reason we brought it to Happy Hollow was to have it in this area. We didn't really have anywhere to shop.
Yeah.
We didn't have anywhere that you could go get, you know, a selection of guns and rifles and shotguns and pistols and ammunition. So we tried to bring it in along with gear and duck calls and just anything you need in the hunting and fishing.
Y'all have done an awesome
golf.
job. Actually, a couple of friends of mine come in from South Africa last weekend, and I carried them to Happy Hollow first. Then I carried them to a couple of Bass Pro Shops because we were in Birmingham, we were in Memphis, and they just wanted to see it. They had never seen it before. But y'all have everything they have, and it's
We try.
and it's so unique to be able to just, you know, say, hey, go out there first, and it's there's a wide variety, and a lot of these mom and papa shops that come in and put in guns, they put in what they like.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to put in what I like, but there's so many choices, and you know, big calibers, small calibers, handguns, big guns, little guns, self-protection guns. I mean, it just goes on and on. But then you got to have all the stuff to go with it. You need the scopes and the mounts and the slings and the nice camouflage to go with it, and the boots. I mean, it kind of grows, but it's nice to go to one spot and get it all.
Yeah. So we pride ourselves in trying to bring that in for everybody. So where would you say free speech goes in hand with the Second Amendment?
I think everybody has a right within limitations of not hurting someone to say what they want to say. And that's the same way with, you know, I've said this before to some guys jokingly. I said, you know, I'm glad that everybody in the world are full of Deans because everybody be hunting. I'm glad there's people that like to do what they want to do. There's people that golf. There's people that fish. There's people who do everything, you know, biking, whatever you like to do. So there's room for everybody. But I'm not going to knock somebody else's idea because that's what they like. And I just want the same. I just don't want people to infringe on what we like to do, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And some of my best friends that I have had over the years, we grew together hunting, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we played ball together, some of us did, but the best times we had outside of childhood is hunting. You know, that's just, so there's a lot to pull from it. And free speech goes along with, you know, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Just don't tell me.
Yeah. So you mentioned your African friends coming over and shopping with you. So tell us about hunting over there a little bit.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I got to go with the mayor, Charlene, her and her husband, Jerry Paul, and we, which another friend of ours, Richard Hamilton, had went earlier, and he said, man, you got to go. You got to go. So my wife, Emily, and I, we went, and there was 12 of us went, and it's unbelievable. I mean, you think you're going to a zoo because you see so many different animals, but it's not shooting fish in a barrel or anything like that. It's hunting. It's harder than you think it is, but we had a blast, and if the good Lord's willing, I'm going back. So,
how many times have you been?
I've just been one time, but I've got plans to go back this next year.
Yeah, I bet the scenery is something.
Oh, it's something. It's like I said, I've got a friend in Tampa, Florida that I met in South Dakota hunting. I've got some friends that I've met in other places, and once you kind of make that bond, you've always got something in common, and it's just friendships that I called Matt and said, hey man, he's in Tampa, Florida with a hurricane. I called him and said, hey, how's everything going? He said, well, I'm worried about my mom and dad because it's hitting them, but we're okay. Well, me and him met in South Dakota pheasant hunting, and we've just been friends ever since. So, there's a side to that people don't see. They just want to see the negative part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the hurricane, I think, did quite a bit of damage. I've got a couple of friends through business in Tampa and Siesta Key area, and I called to check on them or text them.
Yeah.
Text them last night, and they were all hunkered down.
Yeah.
I think one of them said the beach house got some damage, but they were all pretty safe.
Yeah.
So thankfully.
We never know.
No, but it's about relationships.
It's about relationships.
It's about building and gaining friends and through hunting. I don't hunt anything like I used to as a kid. I loved it, and then I just kind of outgrew it. I got lazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, and a lot of it has changed so much now, because when I was a kid, I used to coon hunt. I coon hunted all the time. I could leave the house and go 5 miles either way, and nobody cared whose land I was on.
Yeah.
And now you've got everybody's, people coming from Huntsville or Birmingham or wherever and leasing 40 acres of land or 100 acres of land, and it's a way out for them. And I'm not knocking what they're doing, but it's just changed so much. The kids don't, unless you own land or your family owns land or you really know people that will let you hunt, it's hard. It's harder than it's ever been. And it's, the old mighty dollar changed a lot of that, because people think, well, I can get so much an acre for letting these people hunt, and they pay their land taxes.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened with a lot of it. And timber companies have come in and they sublease, and I mean, sometimes these leases are 2 or 3 times down the road where somebody owns it, they lease it, and somebody subleases it, and then the local people don't have a place to hunt. So
yeah, I can see that. So is there anything else that so tell us how somebody could get involved with the NRA.
Go to Friends of the NRA and go on there, and then there's you can actually be a member, and they have 1 year and 3 year, 5 year, and lifetime memberships, different prices for that. And you can go on and you can be well assured that your money is going to fight the battle for the Second Amendment. That's where it's going. It's not going to pay me to go to Africa. It's paying for what it says it is. And then like we're having this banquet out here the 17th at 6 o'clock at Happy Holla. We ask everybody to pre-buy their ticket. You can go to Friends of the NRA, use the QR code, or you can, we will have some physical tickets the last week, and you can do those. You can call me or Tim Burks or Cameron and get a hold of one of us, but Happy Holla has all the information out there. If you're out there, just check those. They got the signs up. You can shoot that QR code and go right on to it. And we're going to have sponsored tables. I think the first tables are going to start out at $1,000. They go up to $2,400, and there's different gift prizes obviously for each one of those. Everybody that pre-registers before the 16th will be eligible for a gun draw. So if you get your ticket, you're going to be guaranteed a meal. You're going to be in the drawing for a door prize gun. And then there's going to be many, many more opportunities to get guns throughout the night for fundraisers. They'll play card games. They'll do different things. There's probably 5 or 6 different types of games they have. They'll have raffle tickets that you can put into the baskets, and they'll draw out your number. It's very well organized. We'll have really good food. We'll have good fellowship and have a good time. And Happy Holla is going to have the store open.
That's correct.
And from 6 to probably 9 o'clock, maybe 10. There'll be opportunities there. So if anybody wins a gun, they can go right next door and sign their paperwork, get their gun, carry it home with them that night. And there's going to be opportunities for them to have scopes and mounts and anything you need to go with your gun, ammunition.
Yeah.
That stuff will already be right there at the store.
Yeah, and that saves a huge hassle. I want a gun once at an event, and I had to go to Scottsboro, Alabama to pick that gun up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
having it there at Happy Hollow
It's going to help.
It's very, very convenient.
And
So, do you do anything with Ducks Unlimited or any other?
I
thing?
have been to Ducks Unlimited events, but I don't. And Ducks Unlimited is they're very good about what they do. They tag a lot of those ducks nationwide, and Wild Turkey Federation, I'm a member of it, and they do a lot of stuff nationwide. But isolating on the state of Alabama and Mississippi, I can honestly tell you I don't know exactly what they do.
Right.
But the NRA, I can tell you, their money's going to fight with Alabama legislation, Mississippi, and they're going to be working toward a national voice for us.
Yes. Well, and again, that's going to be at Happy Hollow. So we might throw up a link with a QR code on our Facebook page and hopefully even our website. You can go on www.happyhollooutdoors.com and pick up that link also to carry you to the website where you can buy the tickets or reserve a table or whatnot. The reason I said that is a friend of mine with the Ducks Unlimited reached out this week, and we may be able to host one of those at some point and just, kind of do something repetitive there at the store.
Well, it's twofold. It's about getting people involved. It's about getting these. We encourage you to bring your children and kids. If they're old enough to understand what guns are, we encourage them to come to this event and see what goes on, and that we can describe a little more about what's happening with the money situation. And I'm the type of person, I don't have a lot of money to give, so I kind of want to know where it's going.
Exactly.
And I think that's fair with anybody. It is tax deductible, and you can make your donations to that in any form you want to. But it's good to see that it's working.
Yeah, and of course, we encourage the kids to come out. It's
Absolutely.
a non-alcoholic event.
Absolutely.
There'll be food and drink, but no alcohol whatsoever. So, we'd appreciate you coming out and spending some time with us and learning a little bit more about the NRA.
That's right, the NRA, and learn about Happy Hollow. There's so much there to offer, and I can't appreciate, me and Joey go way back, and I can't appreciate you enough for stepping in and helping with this. And it's kind of funny, when I went to him to talk to him, he goes, "Let's just have it here." And I'm like, "Hey, let's do it.
Let's
do
empty
it."
a room out.
We'll empty a room out and make it happen. And,
Yeah.
and I think it's good for business, it's good for Red Bay, and it's definitely good for people to see what's going on. And it's y'all are active in it, and we're all in this together. If you're a gun owner or a hunter, or your family hunts, we've got to preserve that right to do that. And these are big steps to do that.
Well, again, we appreciate y'all tuning in to the Bull Mountain Podcast, and we're going to close now. We always like to close with some scripture or something from the Word, and I'll just talk about, my favorite scripture is Acts 3. And it starts about 3 when Peter and John were about to enter the temple. The lame man looked upon them and asked alms of them, and they said, we don't have any money that we can give you, but I have something much better to offer you. Stand up. And the man had been lame from birth, and he stood up and ran into the temple, and that's my favorite scripture, just simply because we don't know what we're here for.
That's right.
But we know we're here for a purpose. Mm-hmm. So you take that man that had been lame from birth and was hauled there to the temple gates to beg every day of his life. But one day, his purpose was revealed when he ran into the temple, and everybody saw the miracle that had just happened and knew Jesus was very much still alive and healing, even though he had already ascended into heaven from dying on the cross for our sins. So that just tells us that we're here for a purpose.
Absolutely. We're blessed so we can bless others.
Exactly.
I truly believe that.
Exactly. So again, we thank y'all for tuning in to the Bull Mountain Podcast. We miss Dale and wish he'd have been here to do this one. He'd have probably done a whole lot better job than me at this one for sure. So thank y'all again, and we'll give you some more information about our sponsors. And Dean, I thank you for coming on. I thank you for helping put this NRA thing together. I think it's very needed in this community. And so y'all come on out to Happy Hollow for the NRA event. And
If you have any questions, let me know.
all right, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When it comes to buying land, why not have a team to help you make the right decisions? Tyler and Dale Jeffries can be that team. After all, they've been a team since the beginning. With Tyler growing up playing football for his dad as his coach, they've become Team Jeffries. Now they're ready to make the next big play and a touchdown for you. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, lease, or even auction land, let Team Jeffries take you to the end zone and make your dreams a reality. Serving all of Alabama and Tennessee. Visit nationalland.com.